Clic. Mao. Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Mao. Gazo. Clic.
Hey collective, thank you for joining me again in the ethers. All right, let's get ready for this love reading. If this resonates with you, take it for yourself, and if it doesn't, share it with someone else. Let's jump right in. Let's see what the cards got to tell you today in the ethers. Okay, first card out is Four of Cups. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy here. Give me a message for my collective. The High Priestess. Okay. We're going to pull the cards, then we're going to jump into the reading. The Tower in reverse. Seven of Cups. The Emperor. This is some juicy gossip right now. So we're going to jump right in. Let's see what's going on here. You have the World card in reverse. And the Queen of Swords. Okay. The King of Pentacles. So we have a match out here with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So for me as a reader, although you have you have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards here, but with the King and the Queen out here showing that this, whatever's happening is a fated situation. Okay. You have the Five of Swords. Then you have the King of Swords in reverse. So we have another match out here, but you have the King of Swords in reverse. You have the Seven of Swords. The Hermit, Virgo energy. The Lovers. The Devil, Capricorn energy showing up. And the Justice. And at the bottom of the deck, I always feel like somebody's watching me. I don't got no privacy. So that's the Page of Swords. All right, so let's jump into this reading. This is interesting. So interesting. Okay, so... All right. Okay, so... All right, so I'm getting that somebody thought, okay, as crazy as this sounds, somebody thought that they could outsmart you. That's the energy that I'm getting from your cards. I feel like somebody thought that they could outsmart you. And I feel like this person kind of underestimated your intuition. That's the whole story, like right here. That's the whole story. I'm going to break it down, obviously, but somebody thought they had a lick. I'm just going to be realistic here. Someone thought that you were naive. Someone thought that you weren't aware. You had no discernment, right? Someone thought you had no spirit team here, right? However, this resonates for you. So with the Two of Cups, right? The Devil and the World in reverse, for me, because I'm an intuitive reader, I feel like that was a strong bond, right? So this was a strong bond. There was a deep attraction here, some sort of emotional connection here, some form of a spiritual tie, right? But it wasn't healthy, if that makes sense. Let me put the camera back. So that it wasn't. It was like almost like a toxic attachment here, right? It was toxic. It was, but it was mixed with like some sort of real feelings, if that makes sense, right? So you have the Devil card and the World card in reverse. So this was a cycle that kind of kept repeating itself, right? You couldn't fully close it, but it also, it wasn't growing either. I hope that makes sense, right? Okay, so your energy, right? Who you are in this. The Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Swords. So let's start with you, collective. Let's start with you, okay? So you're intuitive, right? You're grounded, you're nurturing, you're smart, you're observant, right? You're the Queen of Pentacles, you're the High Priestess, and you're the Queen of Swords, right? So the High Priestess, with that energy, I feel like you knew something was off. Male or female energy, because, you have men that take on feminine energy, no homo, right? But I'm just saying, I'm gonna read the cards as it is. You place it wherever it fits for you. But as the High Priestess is out here, something is telling me that you knew something was off with the situation. So you have the Queen of Swords out here, and I feel like eventually you stopped ignoring it. So you went from loving, observing, cutting through the bullshit, to you drew your sword. You let your intuition rock. You didn't try to hide what you already knew. Okay? So I feel like I'm going to have to be frank. Their true character here, the Emperor, the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords in reverse, the Seven of Swords, and the Five of Swords. I feel like this person, it was control, it was ego, it was manipulation, right? This is someone who wanted dominance as the Emperor, who cared about status, image. That's the King of Pentacles. Who communicated poorly or manipulatively, because that's the King of Swords in reverse, right? This person moves sneakily, like sneaky, with the Seven of Swords, right? They were wearing a mask. They try to do something behind your back. They try to deceive you. And that's the reality of it. And I feel like let's pause right there, because that's the hardcore facts right there. That's the truth. This person tried to deceive you. They tried to manipulate you. They either tried to manipulate you with words, with emotions, right? This person played mind games, because the Five of Swords is out here. When the Five of Swords show up, this is a situation where this person needs to win at any course. They need to win even if it hurts you. This person was competing with you. They wanted one up against you. So the control dynamic here is this person didn't want partnership, collective. They wanted control. They wanted control in disguise, right? And they kind of like disguised it as structure. You have the Emperor and the King of Pentacles. They wanted things their way, on their terms, under their authority. And if you didn't comply, this person brought forth conflict, confusion, manipulation. What they did to you emotionally here, because this is heavy to me, right? With the Four of Cups and the Seven of Cups, and then you have the Tower in reverse, I feel like they had you confused. They had you emotionally drained, questioning things, unsure of where you stood. You had the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups, this person created illusions. Look how ditzy this person looked. You had this person created illusions. Then you had the Four of Cups. So it was like it was emotional dissatisfaction. And then you had the Tower, right? So the Tower here in reverse. You had the Tower in reverse. I feel like you stayed, collective, you stayed longer than you should have. I feel like you tried to avoid the ending, right? You tried to make this situation work, right? You tried to understand them, but deep down, you knew it wasn't stable. The high priestess is out here. You're not going to convince me that you didn't know. And just because you knew and you still stayed, that doesn't make you a terrible person. I just know that you won't ever repeat this cycle again. You know you won't ever repeat this cycle again. So the betrayal and the deception energy here, which is the Seven of Swords and the King of Swords in reverse, right? Because look at this person. Stealing, running away, looking back at you. I feel like this person wasn't fully honest. They hid things from you. For some of you, they twisted the truth. They tried to emotionally manipulate you. For some of you, they even tried to trauma bond with you. Like, this is an extremely emotional, deceptive person here. This person avoided accountability. For some of you, there were lies. Like I told you, there were secrets. For a lot of you, there was even third-party behavior. Even if it wasn't physical, it was emotional dishonesty here, mental dishonesty here. I feel like when things shifted, when you started waking up, is with the Hermit card, Virgo energy, the Queen of Swords, the High Priestess. I feel like with that energy out here, you pulled back. You started thinking. You started thinking. You started listening to your intuition. You was analyzing everything, right? You was trusting your intuition in this case. You distanced yourself here with the Hermit card. You chose solitude. I feel like you chose solitude over chaos. You chose solitude over confusion. This person is in their feelings now. With the Two of Cups and the World in reverse, this person is absolutely in their feelings now. Because I feel like they do feel a connection to you, but they also sabotaged it. So with the World being in reverse, they can't close this cycle easily, right? I feel like they feel like there's unfinished business. This person feels, for some of you, they feel like there's a soul tie here between you two. They feel like, this person I feel like is in despair. They feel like they lost something very important here, which is you. And that's their karma. Because you have the Justice card and the Devil out here. And I feel like this is karmic. What they did, it's coming back around. Just period. I mean, you have the Justice card out here. So that's the truth being revealed, right? That's someone taking accountability. That's balance being restored. But then you have the Devil out here, which is a toxic pattern, right? Something being exposed. I feel like this person can't avoid it. The Devil energy out here. I feel like your person, collective, also know that they could be receiving karma, and I feel like they know that they're receiving karma for something that they did to you, right? This is their consequences of how they treated you. I feel like this wasn't just love. Like, this was a lesson in kind of like you setting boundaries, right? This was a lesson in power. This was a lesson in self-worth, right? I feel like this person, they tried to outsmart you. They tried to control you. They tried to manipulate the situation. But what they realized, you were always one step ahead intuitively. You was always one step ahead. You didn't lose them. You saw this person very clearly here with the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess. You saw this person very clearly. The Justice card is out here. You went from confused, aware, and now empowered. Yeah. This is this is deep. I feel like this person feel like they lost control of the situation, especially with the Emperor card out here and the Queen of Swords and Justice. I feel like this is the first thing hitting them. They're realizing you're not easy to influence anymore. You're not reacting the same, to their bullshit, their push and pull situation, or their trauma bonding issues, or their manipulation tactics, or you're not acting the same. You're not bending like you used to. And that energy that you're in right now, this throws them off, completely throws them off, because before they knew how to handle you, and now they don't. They're looking at you like, why are you so cold now? Right? Like, and I feel like with the Four of Cups out here and the Queen of Swords and the Hermit, I feel like they confused by your detachment here. Yeah, this person, I feel like they're looking at you like, you know, you used to care more. Why are you acting like this now? Right? Like, for some of you, they're even questioning if you actually moved on, or and they're really upset because for some of you, not all of you, this person really feels as if someone else is involved here. Maybe someone else have your attention because you're not completely focused on them. But the truth is, collective, you're not cold. You're not cold at all. You're just clear. You have clarity here. And the problem is they don't like that. And with the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Justice, this is where the regret starts deepening for them, right? They know they played games. They know they weren't fully honest with you. They tried to control things. And now they're like, damn, you know, did I take it too far? Whatever this person did, they just went too far with it. And instead of it getting you to chase them, it actually turned you off. So with the Two of Cups out here in the world in reverse, I feel like this person, they can't shake you, right? Even if they try to act like they don't care, they're over it, they moved on, energetically, they're still tied to you. They're still thinking about you. Your connection, your bond, little inside jokes you guys shared. They're still thinking about how you treated them before they fumbled. Yeah. So look, collective, I hope this helped. This is your reading. This is your love reading. So I hope this helped. But I feel like this person is just afraid that you are actually done with them now. Right? You're not breaking the silence. You're not trying to close the gap, the space between you two. You're actually letting things be, letting the chips fall where they may, so to speak, right? Well, keep focused. For some of you, you could be wanting to work things out, because I do see that some of you haven't completely separated yourself. So those of you who are still in this situation, I do feel like you are tired. I definitely do feel like you are tired of the games, because you know how you see this, so now you can't unsee it, right? And this person is trying to avoid a tower moment here. They don't want a cycle to end here with the world in reverse. But they don't know how to give up this control situation here either, with the devil card out here and the emperor. They want complete control. And the King of Pentacles, they want complete control. And then you have the King of Swords in reverse. So this person might come back in for those of you, but you need to be mindful because they're still in devil energy. They're coming in with half truths here with the King of Swords in reverse. They're coming in as an emperor, as a King of Pentacles, right? But there's something still toxic about them. There's something still dishonest about them. So if it was a third party situation, they might come in, you know, cap into you like it wasn't about a third party. I feel like they're lying. I don't know what it is, but it's something about this situation that before you jump fully into it, before you give yourself to this situation, collective, I'm going to have to tell you to, you're going to need to protect yourself because there's something still dishonest about this person here. There's something still manipulative. There's something still toxic. Anyway, my love, this is your reading. Thank you for joining me today again in the ethers. Until next time. Ciao.